Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Michaela and I'm going to do with you today a really nice and easy crop top. It's called Scarlett top and I called it Scarlett's heart top because it has this little cute cutouts heart in the center. So I've got here my front piece, my back piece. This is a really easy project. I've got here my fold over elastic. Ever since I did the last video, I really love using fold over elastic, and today I want to show you how to do all this project with just your normal sew machine. So yeah, let's get started. So first things first, I am going to take my lycra main piece and I'm going to lycra back piece, and I'm going to bring it over my front piece, and I'm going to pin the sides just like this, and then I'm going to repeat the same thing for my lining. The lining is the skin color fabric, right? You can also not use any lining, but let's say like for a better support, I would totally use lining. I always prefer using lining, I'm honest to you. So right, I'm pinning the sides, and I've left on my sew machine a green neon color, so for you to be able to see the stitches, right? Because if I would use white, obviously on the fold over elastic will not be easy to see. And let's just get started. I am bringing my sew machine over here, and I would like to apologize in advance for the noise. My cat is running on the thread machine, on the thread mill. Okay. So I'm going to take actually first the lining, and for this I'm just going to use a normal straight stitch, and I just go once because this is just to keep the fabrics, the two layers of fabric together. So I just go once over, no back and forth stitches for the moment. Then I will do the same thing for my front piece. So this part is just to bring two layers of fabrics together, because afterwards we're gonna stitch them all four together. So in this way it's actually more easy to stitch over 4 layers of fabric. Okay, so in this moment what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my front piece first, so it's easier for you to see. So my lycra piece first, and then I'm having the back here, and I'm going to place it back over back. So the back pieces will be kind of like sandwiched in between the front pieces, right? So now I am going to reduce a little bit my stitch length, tiny bit. And in this moment, I am going to do a back and forth stitch. like that. And the same thing on the other side. So in this way, sewing over 4 layers of fabric, it's not that difficult anymore. And on top of it, you will have the stitch hidden underneath, in between the layers. So I'm going to slightly trim the excess fabric here onto the sides, like this. And now I'm going to separate the layers of fabric, and I'm going to have front with front and back with back. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin practically all the top. Why is that? Because I want to secure again the 2 layers of fabric together, my lycra and my lining. And from this, I will be showing you on camera just one side, and then I will be doing everything off camera. This is to make easy my, let's call it binding with a fold over elastic, right? So this really makes it easy afterwards. So the 2 layers of fabric, the lycra and the lining, are not moving. So I'm doing this, what is called a bust stitching. It's literally the only meaning is to keep the 2 layers of fabric together. So bust stitching is practically a straight stitch with the highest stitch length, and afterwards it's meant to be ripped or removed. What I do actually, usually I make small cuts in between. So I'm putting it on highest stitch length, and I try to stitch quite as close as I can to the edge. Of course, without compromising the edge. It doesn't really matter which order you are doing the bust stitching. You really have to go all over. So I've done here just like one side, right? But it doesn't matter. And you will have to do the neck area, the little heart area, all the bottom part, everything, right? So next thing will be, as you can see, I'm going to turn it on the lining so you can see better. I'm going to make these kind of like tiny cuts in between, about every 2-3 centimeters, right? This is to allow stretch on my fabric, right? But like I said, you can remove it later. Although it's quite sometimes it's quite tricky to remove it. So that is the reason why I prefer to make these little cuts in between, right? And I will be doing this on both sides, right? On front, on the lycra side, and on the lining side as well. Okay, so that being said, I am going to do the rest of the stitching off camera. Once I'm back, I'll come back and we will start adding the fold over elastic, and I will tell you step by step which one to add, which sides first and after. I'm so excited for this project because it's a really cute top. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've done all the bust stitching around the small cut into it, and now let's get started by adding the fold over elastic as binding, right? And I'm going to start first with a heart, right? So I'm going to start like that, and then I'm going to do the other side. What is very important in this moment, oops, sorry. What is very important in this moment is to leave a little bit of elastic in the beginning. So you should fold it, and for this stitch I'm going to use a zigzag stitch, and the stitch length would be just about like 3.5, right? So I'm going to stitch a little bit like that, just tiny bit. And then I'm going to place it in between. And it's really important that when you are stitching, you are slightly pulling the elastic, right? The fold over elastic, you should be slightly pulling. Why is that? Because you don't want your fabric to wave, right? But you only have to like tiny bit pull, not a lot, and not the fabric, just the fold over elastic. And because it's like a heart, you're going a little bit in a curve, so it is a little bit tricky. And you see there is possibility that you're not covering the bust stitching. So in this case, this is what I'm doing. I just pick up where I see my bust stitching and I'm just removing it, right? It's just a secure stitch, does not have any other function. It's useless right now. All right, so now we're going to do the other side of the heart, right? And I'm going to start from the center like this, right? And the same, I'm going to leave tiny bit of a space before starting, right? Try not to be cheap. Okay. So here you have to be very careful that you're really covering everything. okay, we've got practically our heart. I know that it looks like a little bit uneven, but when you're gonna be wearing it, it's gonna stretch and it's gonna look so much better. Now, next thing I want to show you is how to arrange these little things. So you'll practically just will be folding it in, and in case your sewing machine is struggling with, let's say, thicker layers, right, you can always use this, what it's called a hum jumper. So you place it here behind your foot, right, and then you place your fabric. I'm going to switch now to my straight stitch, right, and I try not to have a very big stitch length, right, and I make sure that that my hum jumper is in the same line as my stitching will go. So here you actually just need a few back and forth. Please have in mind that when you are going to use obviously a stitch, a thread of the same color, this is not going to be visible. And now you can actually trim. All right, now you have the edge. So next thing I'm going to do the neck bit, right? So we did the heart and now will be the neck. Same thing. I'm going to start first and just leave tiny bit of space. And now I'm going to add my fabric. And please remember to slightly pull. Okay, now we have one more, and it's a very long one. So what you have to do, I'm going to do it off camera because that's a very simple part, but I'm going to explain you exactly what you have to do. So as you see, everything what comes, it's a continuous, practically is a continuous part. Well, actually two parts, right? But the upper part, the underarm, and goes with the shoulders. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure, right? I'm doing size S, so I'm going to measure 55 centimeters. This is to touch to the neck. So I'm going to measure until here. And I'm going to zigzag stitch up till here, just the strap by itself. Afterwards, I'm going to go all along, all through the back in front, and back 55 centimeters, right? So this is what I'm going to do. And on the bottom part, right, I'm going to trim this little bit. The same, I am going to measure. This is a little bit optional, but I do know that I want to tie it just once to my back, right? So I'm going to measure about 70 centimeters, right? And I'm going to first do the 70 centimeters without, and then I'm going to add the bottom part, and I go all along, and another 70 centimeters off, right? So you have the bottom part and you have the underarm part, right? So I'll be writing you the measurements for the pattern, right? And yeah, for the rest is all very easy. If you have any questions, please feel free to write me, and if not, I wish you happy sewing.